Welcome to LifesBalance with Shaman M, or shall I say, welcome back. We're starting a new season, and we're doing some different things this season. One of the things that I wanted to start out with is to do some little tips on your health, but what the whole series is about coming into 2012, about the reinforcement of what our nation is doing, what our world is doing. I have several trips planned this year, one to Thailand, and one to India, and one into Germany. Going in and experiencing the different energies, the different types of ancient meditations, yogas, and the energies of people. So we will have different guests on again. The series has started with the reinforcement of that kind of energy that's coming in and what you can do. So one of the main things that I'm doing that I'm just totally in love with is writing. And I'm writing kind of a text for an ashram that we're beginning here. And I'm writing it with two Ayurvedic doctors from India. So we're going back and forth. If you don't know India has so many people that their whole internet system basically is non-usable for the household in the morning. They can only utilize them at night. So they're up until way late hours of the morning, and in the evening, and I'm up very early, and we're communicating that way through Skype. So the whole thing is about the Ayurveda and the yoga and the spirituality, taking them all and making them as one. Right now, we're doing the body typing, and I'll get more into that throughout the series. But the main thing right now is what I'm working on is cooking, because I cook for clients too. I body type them, and then I cook for their different body types and teach them how to do that so that they can utilize the most nutrition and the best value for their food. And the whole thing about that is creating an energy. You create an energy within the body, but you create an energy when you prepare the food. Now, it's time-consuming to do a lot of Ayurveda, so cooking, so I do it twice a week. The whole thing about it is cutting, preparing, the energy that you put into it. You don't want to go into it if you've had a bad day, if you are irritated, or if you're upset, or if you're coming off of not feeling good. That's not how you prepare Ayurvedic food. You do it very lovingly. You cut the pieces in very small bites so they digest for your family. Because ultimately you have somebody in your family who's a massive eater, and they're just famished, and they don't really taste their food, and they don't really chew their food. They just kind of put it in there and swallow. So by cutting and preparing it in small bites, no matter what you're doing. Now, if you can't go out and get fresh organic food, if you are in a position where the food that you're buying isn't all healthy, that's fine. Prepare it the same way, though. Prepare it with love. Prepare it in a mood, in a mode, in an environment, and prepare it and serve it so that your family understands that it is given in love. It changes the whole way you eat. It changes the whole way you feel after you eat. What our whole health and about our health in the nation is the influence that we're having when we sit down and eat. You can sit down and eat in front of a computer and turn around and look at your bowl and you go, wow, did I just eat that? Because you're not paying attention. You're not feeling it in your body. You're not utilizing the energy that comes from it. In Ayurveda, after you're finished with a meal, you rest. You don't go do something. You don't go for a walk. You don't go for a run. You don't go to the gym. You don't go plop down in front of the television. You rest. You meditate. You sit. You go out on your back stoop and you enjoy and you feel what the food is doing to you. By utilizing this and by putting good food into you, you are building your self-esteem. The way we are conditioned and the way we are programmed is just to feed. Feed the emotion. Feed the whole to feel good. But about feeling good is about feeding your energy, is about feeding your self-esteem. Are you going to feel good about eating something that's really healthy for you and good, because it can still be good? Or are you going to grab something that's not so healthy for you and just kind of ignore the fact that it's what it's doing to your body and that you're getting that instant gratification out of it? Because it's short-lived. It's very short-lived. And whether you know it or not, it is being detrimental to your body in more ways than one. Mentally, not just physically, mentally you are conditioned that it's not good for you. If you are conditioned it's not good for you, then no matter what you think, there's that underlying conditioning in your DNA. This is what people don't understand, is that you eat just like you speak, how you're conditioned, how your environment is, how your work is, where you go, what you do, how you shop, who you interact with. This is all energy. And the language that you use when you communicate is a practice to make it positive. When I first started this, it took me about a month to realize how much I was creating my next day, just my next day, by what I was utilizing in this day. By that I mean, say you're getting up in the morning. I go for my tea. Most people will go for their coffee. Most people will go for a run. Most people will do this. Do you see how I'm saying most people, most people, most people? What if no one does that? What if you don't do that? What do you do? How do you do it? What are you creating? What if you stub your toe? Is the whole day ruined because you stubbed your toe? Oh, that's how my day's going to go. Wonderful. And you're setting the energy. Are you laughing it off? What are you creating when you talk to somebody at your work? What if they don't know what they're talking about? Do you blank out and out say, you don't know what you're talking about? What kind of energy is that creating? How about, I need more information because I'm not clear on what that is. Or I'm more clear than what you are presenting to me. There are different ways you can utilize things. If it's a negative, if it feels negative, if it brings you down, if you feel it in your heart, if you say stuff with your health, like I've always limped. My leg will always be ruined. My back will never get better. That's what they tell me. My back will never get better. They told me that I would be shooting insulin in 6 months and my pancreas would never recover. Now, if that was the case, I would be a diabetic at this point. It's about what you believe. It's about what you create. It's about a reinforcement of what you feed. And it takes time to feed it. It's a practice. What else do you have to do? You practice feeding the negative. Why not change? Change one thing and make it positive. And practice feeding that. When you go out shopping, where do you go shopping? Do you go shopping like to Walmart? Do you feel the energy in Walmart? Do you go in with a positive attitude? Or do you go into, okay, here goes my paycheck. Now I have to spend all this money on food. Or I have to clothe all these kids. Or I have to buy all these school supplies. I could have bought me a vacation. How about you go in with a positive attitude? I'm going to get the best sell that they have. This is going to make my kids feel so good. You know, I'm going to prepare this food lovingly so it reinforces my family. It's about putting things together in your environment, one piece at a time. You can't do it all at once. You see how that sounds? You can't, but you can. It is about the way you think and the way you've been raised. There are 4 aspects of a human being. See how I get these right. There is what you know about yourself and what I know about you. There is what you know about yourself and nobody knows about you. There is what you know about what you don't know about yourself and I know about you. And then there's what no one knows about you, you or I. That comes cellular. That, when we talk about that, that talks about getting into the quantum physics. That talks about the deep, how you were programmed when you were developing. Because you heard it all. A cell hears. So if you get upset, if you can't handle a situation, if you don't know why you handle a situation, look at your parents. Look at your grandparents. That's why. Ask them what was going on when I was in the womb, if they're still alive. And put 2 and 2 together and start reinforcing something new. Start reinforcing something different. The students are all behind me recording. Being in school, being in that kind of atmosphere can be really stressful or it can be really fun. It can be both. Can stress be fun? Sure. Because you're learning. Because you're gaining knowledge. Because it becomes an adventure. Life is an adventure. When you place an intent, reinforce that intent. No one has to know about your intent. Play the little game. Play that little game inside of your head that says, okay, I'm going to try. Oh, no, I am going to catch myself. See how just that little shift starts to prepare you in a different way so that you feel better about what you're saying and about where you're going. As you do that, you create your next day. When I begin my day, I do my yoga and I chant. When I end my day, I chant. It calms, it centers. When I sleep peacefully. When I wake peacefully. It's a flow, it's a lifestyle. It's a way when you interact, that's what draws into you. Positive people come into you. Into your spaces where you want to create the most uplifting part of who you are, your self-esteem. When you are at your best and when you hold your energy there, that's who you draw in. If you see yourself here, here is where you draw. If you see yourself here, here is where you'll draw. But if you see yourself here and you hold your space here, and your best friend is here, you're going to have conflict. Because if your best friend does not want to come here, then they're going to try and pull you down here. And how people do that is by negativity. They probably don't know they're doing it. You have to understand that this is a conditioning. This is about preserving the only environment that they know. It may be dysfunctional, but they know it. They know exactly what they're going to get out of that. That's why that individual that eats that last piece of cheesecake knows exactly what's going to happen, even though it's detrimental to them. That's how they've been programmed. That's how they've been conditioned. If we want to change our financial situation, then we have to reprogram our attitudes and reinforce a positive language toward it. Financial, money, cash, it hits you like that, but it's an energy. It's nothing more than an energy. If you require something, it's an energy. Does it take cash? It takes an energy. Stand what you want. Stand where you want. Think that you already have it. And it'll be there. It takes practice, and you have to feed it. It's just like anything else. You have to reinforce it, and you have to feed it. And if it doesn't come right away, understand that you're new at this. And that we're going to have that conditioning that says, you know what? I don't believe any of this. I know what this is. I know that this is hardcore. It's written down on paper. I can count on this. Well, you can count on this. Scientists have now discovered that you can count on quantum physics. It's there. It's measurable. It's always been there, but now it's measurable. So all of this environment, the people you interact with, your family, it's amazing when you start interacting with your family on a different level that you've held your power in. And what I mean by hold your power in is that when you start to change your cellular, their cellular starts to change. If it doesn't change, then you won't interact. I have to laugh about my family is that they kept wanting to have family reunions and family reunions and family reunions, and every time they'd have a family reunion, I'd have something come up. And they're going like, you're doing that intentionally. And I'm going like, really, I'm not. I'm just not in your energy. I am not in your space. That's what people have to understand. That's what people get to understand, is that we're individual. If your frequency is rising, you're going to have your environment start to fall away. When it starts to fall away, you get conflict. That's the energy, that's the pull, that's what happens. If you have different things going on with your body, your legs, your knees, your lower back, your legs, your knees, that's moving forward. That's you holding yourself emotionally back. Your lower back, that's support. That's either support of your environment, support of your job, support of your spouse, support of your family, support of yourself. We can go on. Your stomach. That's emotionally not being able to stomach a situation. Your throat. That's not speaking your truth. Your liver, your colon. How about anger? How about frustration? There are so many things that affect your body with energy, and your environment is one of them. So you're sitting there thinking, you're giving me all this information, you're plowing me with all this stuff. Where do I start? Where do you want to start? Where do you hang out the most? Start there. Do you hang out at school? Do you hang out at your job? Do you hang out at home? Do you hang out in your room when you're at home because you don't want to deal with any of that other energy? Is your room created so it reinforces and makes you feel good? Do you have things around your room that make you feel good? That make you feel good? That give you a positive light? Or is your room like a tornado? All of that reinforces an energy. All of that reinforces the language that you're speaking to yourself. Is it positive? Is it not positive? It's really easy. So, say you work mostly, so you hang out at your job all the time. What is it about your job that you don't like? Change it. Reinforce something else. If you can't shift the environment, if you're in a little square gray cubicle, stick something up that makes you feel good, that you look at. I carry stones. They carry frequency. They make me feel good. Little things like that. There's little things that you are conditioned to, that's in your DNA, that make you feel good. That's the whole part, is do you feel? Are you healthy enough to feel? Maybe the first step is getting so you can feel, so that your health is intact. So that what you're reinforcing in your body, you can actually feel and start to feel your environment. All of these things we will be going through. We'll be going through different yoga for the different body types. Body typing in Ayurveda is interesting. It has 3 different doshas, that's what they call them. And it's Vata, Pitta, Kapha. You fall into 2 of those. You are dominant to 1. That will tell you your mental status, your physical status, how you exercise, how you sleep, what your pattern is, how you respond to anger, how you respond to your family, how you respond to your job, how you respond to interacting to something new, how you utilize something new. One of the things I love to do is go into a corporation and have all these people take this body typing test. And then look at them and say, well, you do this and you do that and you do this. And you should be doing this and doing this and this, so that you two get all the way along, and it fixes a problem just like that. It's very precise. But it's also energy. They go on your dosha, they go on your body, they go on the elements, the 5 elements. When you see a star or a pentagon, pentagram, it's the 5 elements. It's space, air, water, earth, fire. Pitas are fire. This is the kind of thing that also creates your energy. If you know who you are, if you know why you react to what you react to, it makes it so much easier to say, okay, I can take this part of my environment or this part of my diet and I can shift it just a little bit. Kappas tend to be short and a little overweight. They tend to get diabetes. But yet their magical cure is honey. That's what feeds their dosha. People don't understand the energy that's created. When you begin to go through this, when you begin to change your world changes from in here out here. So give yourself one thing as I wrap this all up. Give yourself one thing to change. Give yourself one thing to change that has to do with your environment, and one thing to change that has to do with your health. Just one. And feed it. Feed it in a positive way. And if you cannot do it one day, do not give up. Know that it's a practice. Know that, like anything else you practice, sometimes it's not going to sound so good. Sometimes it's not going to fly so good. Sometimes the cosmos and the energy and the people around you just are not going to cooperate. That's fine. Smile through it. Get yourself cruising on and flow. Remember, life is a flow. When you start as a baby, you start on your back. Then you move to your belly. Then you gain strength and raise your head. Then you sit up. Then you stand up. Then you balance and walk. That's the flow of yoga. That's the flow of life and Ayurveda. Many blessings. We'll talk soon. Take care.